RMS Titanic, an Olympic-class ocean liner, once deemed as the unsinkable ship, had failed to hold its title. It all began on March 31st, 1909. The construction of the RMS Titanic was begun. The designer was Thomas Andrews, who was a shipbuilder for the company Harland and Wolff in Belfast, Ireland. The RMS Titanic was part of a trio, the Olympic-class ocean liners, which included the Britannic and the Olympic. All three ships were built similarly. They all met specific requirements, but the Titanic was deemed as one of the largest ships of the time. It included a triple expansion steam engine and 3 Parsons turbines, which were powered 3 propellers. It also included pipes that carried fumes out of the ship. That was how a 46,000-ton ship stayed afloat. At the time, the ship costed $7.5 million to build, but today, the same ship would cost $175 million. That's 20 times as much. But with the technology back in the day, it was a great ship that was deemed to take upon the journeys for a long time. The ship contained 16 watertight compartments which were located below the ship. They were designed so if any two of the compartments were flooded, or any 4, they would still stay afloat. Then the day had come. On May 13, 1911, the ship was completed. And the next year, on March 31st, 1912, it was ready to take its maiden journey to New York. It left the port of Southampton, England, on April 10, 1912. The captain of the ship was Edward. He was a great captain. He was a British merchant navy officer who was the captain of many other ships. The journey began. It was headed to its first stop, Cherbourg, France, and was timed to reach there at approximately 7 p.m. that day. It was successful. It had reached the stop. Now it was headed for its second stop, Cobb, Ireland. It also had reached there successfully the next day, April 11th. Now it was headed for its last stop, New York, the Big Apple. It was going to be a great achievement to be its maiden voyage to New York. So it began. At afternoon, it left the port of Cobb, Ireland to New York. There were high hopes to reach the end of the journey. Then they began. The seas were calm and the waters were good. But the temperatures just kept dropping, and you never know what was going to happen. The RMS Titanic's wireless operator, Jack Phillips, was receiving many wireless messages that there was ice at sea. But he kept ignoring them. He was occupied with another wireless message that was set to occupy its next journey. So he never got through to them. But a couple hours later, he received more messages that there was ice at sea again and again. 4 days later, 4 ships reported that there was pack ice, field ice, and icebergs right ahead. But research never shows that any of these messages ever got to the captain. So he never saw them, and he could never take any action. So the ship just kept heading right in the direction it was heading. Lookouts in the Titanic, fleet and lee, spotted an iceberg right ahead. They didn't know what to do. One of the crew members ordered the ship to turn left. The ship turned left, and it hit the iceberg. On April 15, 1912, the RMS Titanic hit an iceberg. Immediately, the investigation followed. The crew investigated and found out that 5 watertight compartments were flooded, and that the ship would only stay afloat for 2 more hours. 16 lifeboats were launched. And in these lifeboats, there was about 50 people were saved in each lifeboat. But 2,200 people were on board. And that was not enough to save everybody. This led to many casualties. 705 people were saved, but 1,500 people were dead. This is a day that will live on in our memories. It will show us that life is unpredictable, and you'll never know what will happen, even at the highest moments. On April 15, 1912, the RMS Titanic, an Olympic-class ocean liner, was immersed underwater in the North Atlantic Ocean. Thank you.